Everyone knows who King Kong is, and a good amount of people even know that in 1962, Toho put out a movie pitting the famous giant ape against another super famous monster, Godzilla. But have you ever wondered what happened to the Kong suit used in this film after the movie came out? Well, whether or not you have, this class is going to provide an answer to that question. Let's check out the complete history of Goro, King Kong's monkey cousin. We'll begin, as always, with his behind-the-scenes history. A large chunk of the kaiju introduced in the first Ultra Series show, Ultra Q, the only series in the franchise not to feature an Ultra hero that battles the monsters, were created from some of Toho's monster suits, which were loaned to series producer Eiji Tsuburaya because he was a friend of the studio and had been the special effects director behind so many of their biggest hits. Godzilla became Gomez, and of course Gyros as well later on in Ultraman, Rodan became Litra, Baragon became Pagos, and as I'm sure you've all guessed by now, Toho's King Kong suit from King Kong vs. Godzilla was changed into a different primate kaiju, Goro. But I'm using the term changed rather loosely here, because the only differences between Toho's King Kong and Goro were that Goro had a different face mask constructed by an unknown individual, as well as a tail. And that seems to be it. Yukio Fukudome got to be the suit actor for Goro and wear the somewhat infamous King Kong costume. The effects team constructed a life-size Goro hand to make it look like the giant monkey was actually there. Goro's only appearance in Ultra Q was in Episode 2, titled Goro and Goro, which was written by Tetsuo Kenjo. A last-minute change was made to this episode requiring reshoots, which slightly altered Goro's origin. Originally, he was going to have been a monkey that grew large after consuming a chemical called Helipron Crystal G. However, this was changed to a type of nut called an aoba nut after a company called Takeda Pharmaceutical became a sponsor of the show, in order to ensure that no one was discouraged from buying medicine from them. I can't confirm this, but Goro's high-pitched cry in the show, which sounds like this, is said by someone online to be a slowed-down cheetah call. As far as Goro's name, I think it comes from gorilla, but that's just my guess. Alright, time to study Goro's in-universe origin story. An Awashima wild monkey broke into this building, which contained a package of aoba nuts, and ate a bunch of them, causing the creature to grow so large that he could hardly be distinguished from King Kong. He didn't seem to have become malicious or anything, and remained a curious and playful creature kind of like Curious George. But even Curious George can get into a whole lot of trouble, so you can imagine that Curious Goro would prove to be an even bigger problem. At the beginning of the episode, he started trying to swing his way across a ropeway, giving the passengers in this ropeway car quite a fright, and putting their lives in danger. Luckily, the car was able to reverse and the people inside escaped with their lives. This incident led to Yuriko Edogawa's newspaper, the Daily News, beginning a search for the monkey so they could report on him. A little later on, Goro threw some fruit or something at a milk truck, which was being driven by, hey, that's Ide from Ultraman. Ide got out to clean the fruit with a rag, but when he exited the vehicle, he spotted Goro peeking over a hill, and quickly got out of there, leaving the milk truck behind. Curious Goro wandered over to the truck and kicked it over, and after doing so, noticed some milk spill out of the cans. He began an investigation of the cans, and eventually learned how to get milk out of them, and began guzzling the drink and making a big mess. I'd complain about this mess, but there's no use crying over spilled milk. The chief of Daily News, meanwhile, had convinced Jun and Ippei of Hoshikawa Air Service to fly him out in a helicopter to try and locate the mega monkey. When the group found Goro, he was still plopped on the ground near the milk truck, messing with the milk cans. Goro was kind enough to pose menacingly for the people in the helicopter, so they could snap some pictures of him to print in the paper. It seems the chief then wanted to take some more pics from the ground, so Jun landed the helicopter as Goro continued to clumsily drink the milk and do silly monkey stuff. Now, neither the ropeway passengers nor Milkman Ide had wanted to be Goro's friend, but he did have a human friend, also named Goro, who had grown up with monkeys. It didn't matter to this guy that this monkey was enormous, he still wanted to be his pal. Jun, Ippei, and the Daily News folks spotted the man in the monkey's grasp and assumed he was in great danger, but also assumed they themselves were in great danger too, and ran away quickly after snapping a few pictures. But they soon learned from Goro the human's employers that he was friends with the giant monkey, and they headed home. But all was not well, because Goro the human, in order to keep his now giant monkey pal well fed, started taking food grown by his neighbors without asking, and it didn't take long until the angry townsfolk found out. The Straw Hat food pirate was taken off to jail, and now poor Goro the Kaiju could no longer have even one piece of fruit. This would quickly become a big problem, as animals don't tend to like not being fed. Goro began wandering around the nearby town angrily, and his angst increased after several policemen shot at him. He punched a hole through the roof of one building, and then slammed his leg through it, which caused him to lose his balance and fall backward onto another building. And with these actions, Goro became the first Ultra Kaiju ever to cause destruction in a city, and definitely not the last. Some electric lines then shocked the monkey and rekindled his anger, and after peering through these windows and gently tossing a police car, he started going absolutely berserk. But things could have gotten even worse if the police went back to attacking him at this point. Luckily, the main characters stepped in to convince them to try something else. Goro the human was released from jail and given a giant can of milk with some kind of sleep medicine in it, and was allowed to approach the rampaging monkey. Goro the Kaiju calmed down and chugged the milk down. Moments later, he was in the monkey version of Dreamland, which made his human friend, who thought he'd died, really upset, but I'm sure he eventually learned his monkey pal was just fine. Plans were made to transport the Kaiju in his sleep to an island that Yuriko had just visited, which coincidentally had another giant monkey on it, which probably also ate a bunch of aoba nuts. This other mega monkey was well taken care of by the locals, and the protagonists were sure Goro would be right at home there too. We never got to see the transportation of the monkey monster though, because the episode ended here. In the illustrated version of the story, released in the Bokura magazine though, apparently an extra scene was added showing Goro the human boarding a ship headed to the island so he could be with his giant monkey friend. Another episode featuring Goro was planned, in which the monkey would have battled one of Ultra Q's most well-known kaiju, Garamon, but it was cancelled for unknown reasons. Following this, with seemingly no new episodes featuring the kaiju in the works, the Goro suit was eventually returned to Toho, and was used one last time as the costume for water scenes in King Kong Escapes. It was once again given a new head to match the design of Kong 1967. Tsuburaya Productions hasn't bothered to make a new TV suit for Goro since then, and that's why he hasn't been seen since Ultra Q. Well, unless you count this little segment in episode 5 of Ultra Zone, where a tiny toy of Goro interacted with another monkey-like Ultra Q monster, M1. He also appeared as a silhouette in the opening credits for Ultraman's first 11 episodes, and was present in Kin Nakajo's Ultra Q novel, which kept the original Helipron Crystal G plotline intact, and apparently some picture books as well. And that seems to be about it. So, into the Forgotten Monsters Hall of Fame you go, Goro, until the day you finally make a true return. Maybe when he finally does, he'll look like this. That'd be pretty appropriate, don't you think? Now, I figure we should look at figures next. Goro collectibles do exist, but for the most part, only the expensive lines like X+, Marusan, and Bullmark have covered him. Your best bet if you want a cheaper Goro figure is to look for the Soul of Bullmark 3.5 inch or so toy, designed to look like the old, taller figure. I don't have any Goros in stock right now in my eBay store, but I've got tons of other Ultra Kaiju plus many other Toku figures too. If you're a collector, be sure to check my store out by clicking the link in the description. The proceeds help yours truly pay the bills. Supporting this channel helps with that too, so be sure to like, subscribe, and comment what your thoughts are on Goro, King Kong's Ultra cousin.
Professor, you've got to help me!
Oh no, why are you here, Mr. Principal? Is this another attempt to try and trick me into doing something you can fire me over?
No, I promise it isn't! There's this really creepy guy who came to my office and is claiming he was once me or something, and that he wants my job! You gotta talk to him and make him go away!
I have to do... He said what?
Protect me, Billy Cuddles!
He's such a coward.
Hi, Professor! Remember me? It's me, the principal!
What? Well, you look sort of like him, but you have a different face and a tail. Oh wait, I think I know what's going on. Mr. Principal, I think this is just an old suit of you that was changed into a different character.
Huh? But I'm not just a suit, I'm a real person! Aren't we all real people?
Oh, I guess you're right.
Though we do have a lot in common with Tokusatsu characters. What if we are suits?
Let's not think about this too hard. Just let this guy be your water scene stunt double or something, and let's move on with our lives.
Don't tell me what to do. But okay, assuming we are alive.
Oh, don't worry. We're the most alive you can be. You might even say we're animated.
Animaniac, please don't talk about that. Anyway, thanks for tuning in today, students. I hope you all had the chance to Goro in knowledge. This has been the Toku Professor, signing off.